97% fatal. There is a living creature with a 97% fatality rate. It doesn't hunt in the jungle or the deep sea. It waits in the warm, shallow waters of your favorite swimming spot. It's invisible. It's silent. And if it gets inside you, it triggers a chain of events so catastrophic that survival is considered a medical miracle. Today, we're looking at the terrifying biology of the brain-eating amoeba. What is the brain-eating amoeba? The so-called brain-eating amoeba is scientifically known as Naegleria fowleri. It's a microscopic organism that naturally lives in warm freshwater environments, things like lakes, rivers, hot springs, and poorly maintained swimming pools. It's not actually eating the brain in the sense you might think. Instead, when it enters the human body, specifically through the nose, it travels up the olfactory nerve and into the brain, where it begins feeding on brain tissue. This causes a devastating infection known as primary amoebic meningoencephalitis, or PAM. The scariest part: the amoeba doesn't need to infect a human to survive. It normally feeds on bacteria in the environment. Infection is accidental, but when it happens, the consequences are almost always fatal. Where is it found, and why is Florida a hotspot? Naegleria fowleri, the brain-eating amoeba, thrives in Florida's warm freshwater during the hot, humid months from May to September. It's most commonly found in lakes, hot springs, slow-moving rivers, improperly treated water parks, and even backyard hoses or tap water used for nasal rinsing without proper sterilization. Florida, along with Texas and Arizona, has seen the most cases of this deadly infection, with over 30 confirmed in the state alone. In 2022, health alerts were issued warning residents about risks from lake swimming and nasal rinsing. How infection happens? Let's be clear. You cannot get infected by drinking water containing Naegleria fowleri. It must go up your nose. This usually happens when you dive or jump into warm fresh water, submerge your head or stir up sediment, rinse your sinuses with untreated tap water, use contaminated water in a neti pot or nasal spray, play or splash aggressively in shallow lake water. Once the amoeba enters the nasal cavity, it climbs the olfactory nerve to reach the brain. It then begins to multiply, releasing enzymes and chemicals that dissolve brain cells. Within days, brain tissue starts to break down, triggering inflammation, swelling, and eventually, organ failure. Symptoms of PAM. What to watch? For symptoms usually begin 1 to 9 days after exposure. Unfortunately, they resemble common illnesses like meningitis or the flu, which leads to dangerous delays in diagnosis. Here's what to look for. Stage 1. Early symptoms. Severe headache, especially in the front of the head, high fever, nausea or vomiting, stiff neck, fatigue or drowsiness. Stage 2. Advanced symptoms. Confusion or disorientation, loss of balance, hallucinations, seizures, coma. The infection moves quickly. Death usually occurs within 5 to 7 days, and in some cases within 24 hours of hospital admission. Why is it almost always fatal? The lethality of Naegleria fowleri comes down to 5 critical challenges. 1. Symptoms mimic more common illnesses like viral or bacterial meningitis. 2. The infection progresses extremely fast, giving doctors little time to respond. 3. No widely available rapid diagnostic test exists. 4. Lack of awareness. Many physicians don't consider amoeba infection until it's too late. 5. Current treatments are limited and often experimental. To date, the CDC reports only 4 survivors out of over 157 confirmed U.S. cases. That's a survival rate of less than 3%. Treatment options. What's available? If detected early, and that's a big if, there are aggressive treatments doctors can try. Common protocols include amphotericin B, an antifungal medication that is toxic to the amoeba, delivered intravenously and sometimes injected directly into the brain or spinal fluid. Miltefosine, originally developed for treating parasitic diseases, has shown promise in some survivors. Combination therapy, including drugs like rifampin, fluconazole, and azithromycin. Therapeutic hypothermia, cooling the body to slow the infection and reduce inflammation. In the few survival cases, treatment began within 24 to 48 hours of symptoms, alongside medically induced hypothermia and multi-drug therapy. How to stay safe. Prevention tips. The good news. This infection is completely preventable. Here's what you can do. 1. Avoid freshwater swimming during hot summer months, especially in unchlorinated or stagnant water. 2. Use nose clips if you do swim and try to keep your head above water. 3. Don't stir up the sediment on the lake or river bottom. 4. Don't use tap water for nasal rinsing unless it's been boiled or filtered. 5. Disinfect pools and splash pads properly. 6. Teach children to avoid putting their head underwater in lakes and rivers. 7. Watch public health alerts. Florida often issues warnings during peak heat. You don't need to stop swimming, just swim smarter. Why more cases are emerging. Now, there are a few reasons why we're seeing Naegleria fowleri cases more frequently. Warmer global temperatures. As climate change drives up water temperatures, the amoeba's habitat expands northward. Longer summers, more time for the amoeba to thrive. Increased water recreation, more people swimming, especially in natural bodies of water during heat waves. Aging infrastructure, poorly maintained plumbing and irrigation systems in hot regions can harbor amoebas. For example, in recent years, cases have been reported in northern states like Minnesota and Indiana, places where Naegleria fowleri was previously unheard of. Real-life cases, what we can learn. 1. Florida, 2020. A 13-year-old boy died after swimming in a lake. His symptoms began with a headache and fever. By the time he was hospitalized, the infection was irreversible. 2. Charlotte County, 2022. A man contracted the amoeba after rinsing his nose with tap water in a neti pot. Health officials issued urgent boil water notices and nasal rinse warnings afterward. These stories are sobering, but they show how critical timing and awareness really are. FAQs, common questions. Q. Can I get infected from drinking water? The amoeba must enter through your nose. Stomach acid kills it if swallowed. Q. Can it live in salt water? Naegleria fowleri is only found in warm, fresh water, not in oceans or salt water. Q. Should I be worried about my tap water? Only if you're using it for nasal rinsing or sinus cleansing. In that case, boil it first. Use a sterile filter or buy distilled water. Q. Is there a vaccine? Not yet. Research is ongoing, but so far no preventive shot exists. Conclusion. What you need to know. In summary, Naegleria fowleri is a rare but deadly brain-eating amoeba found in warm freshwater, especially during Florida's summer. Infection happens only when contaminated water enters the nose, and symptoms progress rapidly, often leading to death without early treatment. While there's no cure, it is preventable, so stay informed, recognize the risks, and take smart precautions. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you understand the dangers of Naegleria fowleri, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who swims in lakes or uses a neti pot. Let's spread awareness, not panic. This is one danger you can absolutely avoid with the right knowledge. Stay safe, stay smart, and we'll see you in the next one.